No, I was just thinking that there are a couple of things that are really hard to come by. Uh, a good lawyer, a good West Indian restaurant, uh, a good mechanic. Those are really hard to come by, and and a good barber. What isn't hard to come by is a good education. And I'm not necessarily talking about what you get in school. I'm talking about what parents can do for their children. And it just made me think about, what my parents went through to try and get me and my sister trained up to try and give us as best of an education that they could. They understood that even though the schools occupy most of our time in educating us, they understood that they weren't supposed to be supplements to what the school educated us on, that they were complementary as part of what the school offered. And in some cases, they were the primary instructors and school was the supplement. And the reason why I bring this up again is we're in a really strange time right now. And it's becoming more and more important for parents and whoever is responsible for children, guardians, to have a more proactive involvement in that child's education. It's not enough to just send the child off to school and then when the child comes back home, you ask them, how was your day? What did you study? That sort of thing. It really comes down to, when the child comes home, you sit down with that child and you spend whatever time you can to go over things with that child. Maybe go over extra things. Maybe things that didn't come up in class. All right. I mean, when me and my sister were coming up, even when my parents didn't have the time to actually sit down with us every day, they actually invested in learning tools. And they expected us to use the learning tools, and they would in turn come home and look and see what the results are that they got from us using the tools. So they knew one way or the other that we were going to have to do something, even if they weren't available to sit down with us. And if you don't think that there is a need for parents to be directly involved in the education of their children, all you need to do is just look at the man who's sitting in the big chair in the White House. I honestly believe that this man is illiterate. Although some people tell me that that's not true and that that's not fair, then I will go and say, if it's not true that he's totally illiterate, then I would say that he is close to like third grade or fourth grade level reading, writing comprehension. And of course, there's some people that are going to be, the even-minded people are probably wondering themselves, well, how is it possible that a man like Donald Trump, and I hate saying the name, but how is it possible that this man could have gotten so far in life being illiterate or having a third grade education? And I think the answer to that is pretty simple. His family's rich. And when you have rich parents, you almost have carte blanche to do or say whatever you want to do. Now, I know some people are going to disagree with that, but I think it's more likely to be true. I mean, can you imagine? They send them off to military school. They send them off to whatever school it is. And of course, because they are rich, they can afford to send them off to school. And they can afford to throw a couple of extra dollars in or whatever it is. And then he's there and he doesn't want to do this and he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to, do what everybody else is doing. And so, maybe one of the teachers looked at him and said, hey, you need to start tightening up on your stuff. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. You're not going to develop. And I can imagine, just based on the way he carries on now, I can imagine he probably looked at these people and just said something like, hey, if you don't get off my back, I'm going to call my parents and they're going to pull me out of school and you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get any money. You're not going to get that extra wing that you guys were hoping for. You're not going to get nothing. You're going to get nothing. I can imagine that. I really could. And I honestly believe that if these parents took a much more proactive stance in his upbringing, in his education, maybe we have a different person. Maybe we have somebody who's articulate, somebody who's really smart, somebody who understands, the way things should work. You know, maybe we would have somebody that we could actually say they were proud to have representing us as the President of the United States. But as it stands right now, you can't say that. If you're really honest with yourself, you can't. You know. So, parents, guardians, babysitters, if you got them kids, you know, grab a book. Sit down and read the book with them. Or better yet, make them read the book to you. You know, sit down with them and do their arithmetic. Help them with their math and their science. Take the time. Make the time. Go to parent-teacher associations. Go to the teachers' meetings. Talk to the teachers. Find out what's going on. Where they're strong, where they're weak. You know, and always operate on the assumption that school is supplementing the education that you provide to your children. It should not be the other way around. It shouldn't be that you're filling in the blanks for whatever the teacher gives them. That your input into your child's education should be the primary thing. Yes, they go to school, and yes, they're going to spend 7 to 8 hours at a time in school, but you are still the primary instructor, okay? You have to take it upon yourself to do that, because the country is moving in a very weird direction, and there are still a lot of good teachers out there, but a lot of times their hands are tied. So you can't always count on the teachers to be the single solution to your child's education. You have to be proactive. You have to be what I like to call the activist parent. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to do it. All right. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I have a whole lot of things floating around. There's so many moving parts, but I think we're going to keep it simple tonight. Hopefully I'll figure out the whole editing thing. It's turning into a disaster as we speak. But hopefully we'll get it sorted out, and we'll have some better looking videos for you. In the meantime, guys, thanks for watching this. I hope you'll have a great rest of the evening. And I'm going to come at you very, very soon with some more stuff. All right.